Königssee, Bavaria, the oldest artificial ice track in existence. Deep in the heart of Berchtesgaden, the land, close to the town that carries the name. We are here for the final run of the weekend in the women's bobsleigh. Martin Haven and John Morgan ready for a grand finale, John.
Well, we've seen some unbelievable action so far in the previous 5 races, and this one's no different. This Team Kaliki right here, this young German pilot who hasn't been off the podium yet. She made her only mistake of the run there. Martin on the splits. The last 4 to 5 splits, she had the best time. Watch out for her in the second run. If she comes clean, she could be our gold medalist. Going to chase down, though, 2 other athletes, Alana Myers-Taylor, who's won a world championship on this track. She's won 3 other times on this track. And Alana, after last year, she took off. Looked pretty good. Lost a little bit of time in the last 150 meters, that uphill section, but she's right there, only 300ths chasing down Team Schneider. Well, Stephanie Schneider's won a previous World Cup, her only time in a World Cup this year. And she made a little bit of a mistake, but she's atop of the leaderboard. A lot of gremlins on this track, as we've seen in the previous 5 races, Martin. I think the top 3 sleds, it's anybody's race.
It definitely is. This is a track where we don't use our normal expression. How about easy to give away time, hard to get it back? Stephanie Schneider leads by 300ths. Kim Kaliki definitely in with a medal chance. And maybe Christine de Bruyn and Kaylee Humphries as well. Only Germany, the USA and Canada have won a race here since Fabienne Meyer claimed gold 7 seasons and 10 races ago. Belgium's Elfie Williamson had a couple of medals as well. But apart from that, it has been thin pickings for any other nations.
I was too early into F1.
The Canadians with Christine de Bruyn in the hunt. They've got a couple of other sleds in the field as well. Mariama Yamanka, she is here, but not in that medals battle. She's hanging on in the battle for the top 6. Melissa Lottholzer, Canada, former brakewoman. She is battling for those positions as well, as is Katy Boyle, the European medalist from just a couple of weeks ago. She is our World Cup points leader. Nice little bit of moonwalking there going on from Anna Schenk, the Italian brakewoman. There is Nadezhda Sergeva. She's had a top 4 finish on this track in World Cup racing. That ain't happening this year either. And Van Nieuwenhuis looking to try and find a bit more pace in the second heat. John, this track has just got so many traps waiting to catch out our athletes, and the traps have been tripped quite a lot this weekend in all our categories. Giada Andreucci of Italy goes off first, ahead of Kim Yuran of Korea. Our 18 sleds go in reverse order of their first heat performance, which means we get down into the tie for 9th between Brianna Walker and Martina Fontenev, then into the top 6 with a tie for 4th, Kaylee Humphries and former teammate Christine de Bruyn, before we get perhaps to the medals. Final track action from Königssee, Bavaria, the final heat of the women's bobsled competition. Giada Andreucci and her brakewoman Anna Schenk are our first sled off, 18th after the first heat. Martin Haven and John Morgan calling the action.
Well, it's all about the start time here on this short 12 or 1,300 meter track. And they didn't have the very good starts, Martin. They had the worst start of the 17th start of the 18 sleds. But this young Italian, you know, I'm sure she's got her sights set on Milan Cortina in 2026. There's the first albatross, which is the exit of 4, or the 4 S's. And if you don't get out of there, that's what happens. Now look at this little Kreisel, this little gem of a curve. And now we're into this 100-meter treacherous stretch that's been pretty tame for the bobsled events. For skeleton, it was like, wow. But she's the rabbit. She was the rabbit in the first heat too, Martin. She drew number 1, 52.16, compared to her first time down of 52.22.
There was a little snow in the air in the first heat. And that has gone now, so we might well see that the track starts to speed up a little. So Giada Andreucci just hits the wall out of S4 there.
A little bit too high sitting in the sled. I mean, looking at the skids, of course, we're going to see. She won't be the last one doing that, Martin. That's a lot of personality of the track is that long straightaway, bend away, they call it, coming out of those 4 S's. And down here, this is the uphill section, going uphill and skidding. And this is, you know, the curve 12, the second to last curve. And you can't make any mistakes going uphill.
Well, she is our leader for the moment. First sled down in both heats, as you said. Next up, Kim Yuran, the North American Cup champion 2017-18, made her World Cup debut back in Whistler 2016. And then this is her 5th World Cup race. Hasn't raced Martin, on this track in the World Cup before.
Martin, she was 4th yesterday in the women's monobob. That was the big surprise of the whole field. That she didn't have very good starts. She had 14th best starts yesterday. She's got the worst start in the field today. And obviously she knows how to drive, because she didn't get that 4th place start yesterday because of some, you just don't give that away. You have to earn that, and she did.
Well, she has a handy lead over Giada Andriucci of 0.4 of a second, very nearly from the first heat. That's down to 29 hundredths. The Italians outstarted her by 7 hundredths of a second, but not as tidy as she was in the first run.
Obviously, she's been getting a lot of time on her track in Pyeongchang because she's got some good lines, Martin. Look at that. That's going uphill. This is textbook. This is as good as you can do in the bottom part of the track. 51.67, 17 hundredths better than her first run, much better.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't say the track's speeding up at all, Martin. I think that's just a better run.
That was definitely a bit of a tidier run.
I bet you she can't wait for the next monobob race.
Yeah.
Exit here, a little too flat. When you're flat like that in that 4th S, and you tap, and then when you tap, this is the result. And skidding, not what you want to do. Here, this is so tame, Martin, compared to what we're used to. There's some example of what can happen when you hit that straight wall. Back end comes up, that forces the front end in. More friction, more loss of time.
Kim Yuran, our leader for Korea. Next up, Olena Osipenko of Russia with Yulia Egoshenko behind her. Osipenko, relatively new to the World Cup. This is only her 6th World Cup race, made her debut last January in Winterberg. World Cup best 7th place in Sigulda, a couple of races after that at the end of last season. And Yulia Egoshenko, 7th World Cup start for her, and her 3rd different driver in 7 starts.
What they could do, in and down quickly, 42 starts. Well, they had a 40 in the first run. And now into this amusement park, part of the track. These 4 S's, really. No other track's got one of them. Very, very cool. Pretty good. A little bit of a mistake, but she corrected. See what kind of speed she's got. Only the 2nd best speed. 33 hundredths in the bank. She's going to have to really crash hard in the uphill section to really lose that ranking, Martin. And she's really good there, although she's losing time back. She's going to be happy she's running out of track. 51.62, 1,300s better. And the Korean Kim looks on. Her day is done.
Osipenko adding another 500s to her lead after that heat. So she goes out to 1,400s ahead of Kim Yuran. So a few mistakes.
Not happy.
Yeah. Well, you remember the errors.
Top runner, front runner. Yeah, you look at the runner. That's pretty neutral right there. If she's going to touch it to get out, look at the runner tips here as she exits the same Kreisel curve. Looks like the back end's a little bit of a skid. Minute steering to get off that curve, Martin, but of course, easier said than done.
Well, the forecast yesterday was for a sunny, glassy day today, like we had on Friday. I think a lot of the sleds have gone for fatter runners for the faster ice. May not have the control they need here. Seeing a lot of tail-happy sleds. Next up, Melissa Lotholtz for Canada. Second ever World Cup race for her, and a first for her brakewoman, 24-year-old Erica Voss. She's had one bobsleigh race in her life. That was last week in Europa Cup in Altenburg. What a place to start as well, Altenburg. Talk about in at the deep end.
Yeah. Well, Melissa was on the brakes a couple different times with Kaylee Humphreys, battled on this track. Another transition to the front seat, you know, and the good starter. You can see that. She's got the top 6 start in the first run. And she finished 5th in the monobob race, Martin, which was impressive. See what she could do diving out of the very tame.
Late.
Should be the leader with no problems unless she finds a way to go sideways here. She does not. The finish. And 51.56, 1300's better.
1300's better sounds fairly familiar, doesn't it? Just the last 2 or 3 sleds have been about 1300s better than their first heat. So 5:31 start, same as in their first heat. And a little bit of an improvement in time. Cynthia Appia there, helping with the sleds. She raced in the monobobs yesterday as well.
Yeah, she posted the best start times in the monobob race. So
didn't she?
Another athlete from the back seat to the front seat. Look how hard they hit the straight wall, and they hit it way up here and not down near the entrance to the next curve right here. So if you're going to hit that wall, you want to hit this way. In fact, you can see all the marks on the wall, and then here, that little tap in the uphill section cost her. She corrected by the time she got to the last 2 curves. Is she airborne here? No. Good take on and exit of that finish crease.
As Melissa Lotholtz, good driver, gifted pianist. Next up, Misha McNeil with ex-track cyclist Victoria Williamson. Vicky Williamson had a massive crash in an Omnium race in 2016. Broke her back, broke her neck, took a long time to recover, came back and cycled again for Team GB, track cyclist. And 2 years ago to the day was the last time she pulled on a race suit for a World Cup encounter on a bike. Today, for the first time, in the back of a bobsleigh with Misha McNeil. They lie in 14th place after the first of our 2 heats.
Yeah, they suffer at the start, 16th best start, but Misha can, every once in a while, puts down some fantastic drive lines. Martin, who was the other track cyclist we had? The Belgian female athlete that won the Olympic medal?
Hannah Schenk.
She was
she not a track cyclist? Or was she javelin? I can't remember.
No, this is a retired. Before I have to look it up. But
Anne van Nieuwenhuis will tell me in 30 seconds. She's typing it furiously as we speak. Top speed in the Kreisel for Misha McNeil. In the red, though.
1100s. That's the start deficiency compared to the Melissa Lotholtz, who's got one of the best starts in the field. But this young British athlete, look what she does, Martin. Just drives herself into the podium spot. Ooh, high there in the finish. 51.45. 1800's better. But she's got the ability to drive. She just puts herself in such a disadvantage with a less than average start. That was a much better drive, Martin. That was pretty clean.
Yeah. And that's what you need on this track. It's so easy to make mistakes, so hard to get down clean.
And she gets out of there a little early, but not too much damage. Her eyes, look at her eyes as she exits this curve at 80 miles an hour, going into this daunting little 3-corner combination they call the labyrinth. And When I say daunting, Martin, it's been daunting since they built the track.
And they're going a lot quicker now than they were in 1969, 1970, that's for sure. Misha McNeil, the leader, with 13 sleds to go. Next up, Anne van Nieuwenhuis won't tell me who the former track cyclist was, of course, because she is waiting at the line. So with Sarah Aerts behind her, they started 14th best, came down 13th best. The lead, a 1/10 of a second over Misha McNeil of Great Britain, our current leader.
Anne and Misha are very similar. They're small, they don't get great starts, but they're good drivers. You know, but to depend on perfect runs every time in this sport and on this track, that's difficult. And next week, it's a little different, where it's a lot easier to get down, but there's such an emphasis on the start. Look at that line. I mean, this is A+ driving. Second best speed.
Second best. Yeah.
You know, look at this, Martin. I mean, there's no errors here so far. I don't want to jinx her here in the uphill section. She gets here clean. You give her the best start or give her a top 5 start, she's in the podium every time. Look at her duck her head. So much confidence coming out of that curve. 38 hundredths better.
In the first
She
heat,
knows
that would have been 4th. That's the one she was looking for.
She knows it. But
now, of course,
this is
you
where
want 2 of those.
the lack is, I mean, yeah. And Sarah's, you know, no slouch. She's a summer Olympian herself. And it's small, and, you know, you're pushing a heavier sled. But, you know, she didn't do so well in the monobob because she gave up so much time at the start. 15th yesterday, but this might be her best run.
Also in the monobob, she was saying, didn't have the right runners for the condition. They need thinner and thinner runners. Well, her brand new sled comes good for her here. So Anne van Nieuwenhuis, that's a real burner. She could be hanging out in the leader's box for a few sleds. Look at the tiny gap that Andrea Grecu has, just 200ths over Anne from the first heat. And Anne was only a 10th behind. The battle with Nadezhda Sergeva, Brianna Walker, and Martina Fontenev, and Mariama Yamanka, and Alicia Rissling, and so on and so on and so on. So she could move up a few.
And this young Romanian here, Greco, should, you know, the tallest driver, maybe Riesling matches her from Canada as the tallest driver in the field. You know, the best velocity, the best start, the second best start, but she had some real issues here on the exit of the S's. This time, much better.
Way better. I mean, she's facing forward for a start.
Best speed too, Martin. So 500 should climb unless she makes a mistake here, and she does. 300 should be not a very good exit of Kreisel. This could come down to red numbers where it is now.
Yeah.
I think she had too low a line. I think she was Kreisel. Yeah. But, I mean, she's 1,500s better, but, you know, our young Belgian athlete
the Bendaway
went 30
was
better.
Bendaway was a 1/4 of a second less ugly, but below the Kreisel, the timing is everything at the Kreisel. You're turning off there at that 70 miles an hour nearly, but the Bendaway was much tidier.
This was the best, but she looks low here, Martin, compared to the other runner marks. Look how low she is. Everybody's a little bit higher. So she might have to climb in the end and then steer. Look at the runners. See if she checks the runners there. She's still steering there. Look at the runners on the exit here.
Yeah.
See, she's steering and then she hits that wall. Too much steering in the Kreisel, Martin, is my observation. And then the skid here. Look at the skid there. Ooh, airborne.
Late and she came off late, and there's the result. If you come off the Kreisel late, Keilstein and Seekurve are not your friends. Anne van Nieuwenhuis leads as we get to our 11th sled after the first heat. A 10th ahead of her was Nadezhda Sergeva with Elena Mamedova behind her. Segova has had some good results on this track. 8th place last year. She was 5th a couple of times in the last few seasons.
Remember the World Championships where she was flying and training, and Russians thought she had a chance to medal, and she crashed in the first heat on the exit of the S's right here, I think, Martin.
I had the feeling it was down below before, out of maybe Echo or the
maybe you're right.
after that. And it just rolled off, and she just got out and looked at it and just, what the hell happened there? And she was thinking the same as all of us. Well, that's a much better looking line out of the Kreisel, building her advantage.
She's got the top. We have clocks. I'm looking at them. She's number one.
Clocks are failing, and across the line, well, the timing system has tripped. And we will wait to see.
She's first by 1100s. Yeah. 700s just caught up. So, Martin, she went 2500s better. Second fastest. That's it. So she's the second fastest in this heat.
Yeah.
But she's the leader. Look at the runner tips. Look at the runners. You can see she's a little bit of a steer there.
See her head tilted. She's looking for the out, isn't she? She's looking off the corner. And that's that. The eyes, the sled will follow the eyes.
Very quiet on the exit. How does she bump through here? Does she get airborne? One runner.
Too bad.
You get no airborne runners. That's a good line.
And that doesn't scrub the speed. So Nadezhda Segova, our race leader from Anne van Nieuwenhuis and Andrea Grecu. And we have 10 sleds still to go here in Königssee. Segova having a better second heat. Didn't hold her first heat advantage, though, not quite as quick down the second time as Anne van Nieuwenhuis. But it's a tough battle. Segova only 600ths out of the next pair of sleds, Martina Fonteneff and Brianna Walker. And there you see Mariama Yamanka. She's got a lot to think about, Mariama, in the next few days, doesn't she, before they head to the World Championships. World champion Kaylee Humphries ahead of Kim Kaliki and Christina de Bruyn last year, and they go back to the same track. Yamanka wasn't on the podium then, and I don't think the German opposition and the North American opposition has got any weaker, John, has it? We're throwing Alana Myers-Taylor back into the mix this year, who of course wasn't there last year.
Yeah.
And then you throw in the likes of
Martin, the next
Katy Boyle, who's having a great season, and Melanie Hassler, Kaliki, Nolta. Yeah, it's going to be tough to get on the podium there.
Well, it's a dawning of a new era. Some new names in women's bobsleigh. The Germans.
Yeah.
Again, I'm telling you now, Kim Kaliki. If she cleans up that mistake she made in the first heat, she's got a chance to win this race. Even though she's 1000ths behind Schneider, she had the quickest time from the 4th split to the 5th split, even with that mistake on the exit of the S's. So, boy, top 3 sleds going to be fun. Hey, the next 5 sleds are going to be fun, Mark. All bunched
next
up.
5 are going to be fun, and then battling for the podium will be very entertaining. And Kaliki, as you said, she's had 5 World Cup starts this year, not off the podium in any of them. In fact, she's only missed the podium, I think, in 1 or 2 World Cup races she started, but has yet to get on the top step, maybe today. Brianna Walker of Australia ready to get our final 10 sleds underway here in Königssee, Bavaria. Great Britain, Montel Douglas helping out with the sled. Their coach Bomi, Matthäus Boehmer, from here in Viesturs Garden. He's coaching the Aussies and the British girls, and also coaching Brad Hall. So Brianna Walker and Sarah Blizzard tied for 9th place with Martina Fonteneff and debutante Mara Morel. So even 100th here at the start could win you a place, literally, by the end of the run.
32 in the first run, which was a top 10 start. 37. So, wow. 32 to a 37. 500 slower.
Yeah.
That's not the way to be aggressive. No reason to be conservative when you're in the top 9th, 10th position. 600's back. 9th in yesterday's monobob. No speed. Boy, a lot of variance in that line. And she's 11 back now, Martin.
Yeah, looks like
she
she's
gets
gonna,
through the graveyard without touching.
She's going to struggle
slip
because
back at least
the top two are only 700ths apart, and she's down to third, 1900ths back. Yeah, couldn't hold the lines that she had in the first heat. Temperature is changing, there's no snow, still pretty humid, so maybe the track has just moved away from what she was expecting. The Australian in third place with 9 to go.
Martin, 500 slower at the start. That's 15 at the bottom, 15 more. She might have lost only 1 spot. I don't like this. Look at the runners. You can see a lot of steering right there. Now she's back to neutral. And then she's down low.
Quite high now. Quite high here as well. Just a little late on the big steers.
And watch her in the finish. Probably going to go, that wasn't perfect in the finish. Look how high she gets here. So she lost quite a bit of time here in the bottom.
Tried not to get on the finish curve, and as a result, came off late. So Brianna Walker just a touch late on the last half of the track, and that drops her down the order. Next up, Martina Fontenev with World Cup debutante Mara Morell behind her. Mara with 1 race, 1 start under her belt. That was in the first heat. It's a great view of the inside of the sled. Built for speed, definitely not built for comfort.
13th best start, Martin, but boy, she's right up there in the bottom part of the track in the final splits with the best point A to point B times. 38, 100th off her. But look at this, Martin, 6th best velocity. So she's going to struggle. But she's great on the bottom. If she comes through these S's unmolested, she'll have a chance. Not perfect. 4th best speed.
Make up for it below the Kreisel then.
That's what she does, though, so far. Here she comes. Only 800's back. She needs to be clean in the graveyard, which she was in the first run. That's what she does here. Not bad. Down to 6. 3rd best speed. She's running out of track.
Oh, by 100th. She does run out of track by 100th of a second. That's Elena Mamedova. Majesta Segev is a brakewoman there in the leader's box. So Martina Fontenev and Mara Morell of Switzerland slip into 2nd place with 8 to go. Well, they're ahead of Brianna
yesterday
Walker.
In the women's.
Yeah.
8th in the women's monobob event yesterday. Great lines, Martin. It got away from her right here. She tapped and skidded. 1 hit and go, but the front bunk hit and then the back bunk, and then she had too many bumps, too many hits.
Well, she was 9th here last year, John, and she was tied for 9th in the first heat, but she slips back. So a top 10 finish, but it won't be a personal best in Königssee. 4th place in St. Moritz last season, still her career best. Next up is the Olympic champion Mariama Umanka. Mariama with Vanessa Mark with her in the sled. They've been a pretty constant pairing this season, the driver and a 24-year-old brakewoman. She was the winner here in 2019's race, won the European Championships then as well.
Well,
2 years
not
ago,
getting very good starts. 5:31. That's a little bit better, 100th better, but the Olympic champion, I dare say she might be in a slump, Martin. She did all she could do in the women's monobob. She was 14th. That doesn't make Germans happy when they're on their home track like that, to be 14th in a competition of 18.
For sure.
Best speed, but we would expect best speed. And we expect her to be the leader and maybe move up a couple, because you shouldn't have with the equipment she's got, and she's the Olympic champion, she shouldn't be back here in this position.
2,700 up, and
this is a much better run.
Yeah.
50.94, Martin. 4,200's better. Rennie Spies looks on and knows that 50.94, Martin, would have put her up into first place in the first team.
Yep, that's the fastest run of the day so far. So it's in there, and it's just a little bit when a golfer loses their swing, when a tennis player loses their timing. It's not the yips, but it's just not quite gelling for her right now.
Yeah, but there's going to be 3 spots in the German Olympic team next year. And there's about 6 of them competing for those 3 spots, and all of them are posting results. This gets up too high here, Martin.
Yeah,
that's higher than most, but it's also the best speed. Let's see her dive out of here. Look at her rudder tips. Nope, no steering. Yeah, some steering there.
Steering, yeah.
Not much.
But
does she hit hard? No, she's very smooth.
She gets it through with the speed on board. Vanessa Mark on the right, and Mariama Yamanka with a little smile on the left. Is that, well, could be enough for top 6. Enough for medals? I don't know. Next up, Alicia Risling of Canada. Dawn Richardson-Wilson behind her. And Riz in her 21st World Cup race. Bronze in the Olympic tryout event in Pyeongchang. Still her best World Cup finish as a driver.
Much better start. 300's better than her first run, but only the 2nd best velocity basketball player from University of Calgary, and one of the tallest, if not the tallest, or the Romanian Greco were the tallest drivers. A couple hits. Look at the speed, 4th best speed. Yamanka was flying. Yamanka had a 500ths lead. This is down to 3.
Ooh, it's going to be close, isn't it?
No, it's red numbers next clock.
Yeah.
And after that hit, it's going to be worse. So she's going to hang out a 2nd.
Mariama Yamanka stays in the leader's box, and Alicia Risling is in 2nd place. Riz's best result here, a 5th in January 2018.
Listen. I think she's smiling when she gets out of bed, Martin. This one here.
Yeah. Well, she says, I'm the oldest woman in the team, but mentally, I'm the youngest. So I think that's about
Look at the runner's variation there. Boy, you saw a big... You don't want to see those runners. Right there, she's got it in check. But boy, right there again, too. Look at that, Martin. That's almost Robin Hood there. That's way too much.
She was low and late, and she had to haul it off. And that's where the speed goes. You know, you see it later on in the clocks, but that's where it goes. Yeah, big steer off for Alicia Risling. Vanessa Mark bringing the jacket to her driver, Mariama Yamanka, who is still our race leader. Next up, Katy Boyle, our World Cup points leader. How many times do you get to say that about an Austrian driver? With Jennifer Onosanya behind her, this duo good to go now for Beijing. Onosanya confirmed as an Austrian citizen, an early Christmas present for her. Dutch born and bred, of course.
5:28. Boy, compared to the starts she used to get, Martin, in not only her, but the men. Benny Meyer's team's got the 2nd best start. That's why he medaled again, silver medal this morning. And Austrians have really improved their start times.
Okay, this is a better bend away for Katy Boyle, a much better bend away. She needs good speed. It's not bad.
Ooh, doesn't have it. Not great, though. Green numbers. Watch out. No, it's red now. This doesn't look good, Martin. Of course, Yamanka just flew down the track, so it's tough to match her times.
Well, she had 600s over
but
Yamanka
she found
from
it on the bottom.
Heat. It's plus
she
200.
Found it on the bottom.
And she ducks ahead under the cow. Yes. So
look at her. She's happy with that, too.
Yeah, she is. And so is Jen as well. They've had a season of personal bests. second, fourth, fifth, fourth, third, one random 10th place in St. Moritz. She's back again in the top 6. I think she was feeling the pressure before that one, John.
Yeah, well, she knows she's got a World Cup title on her hands.
Well, and it could well be.
Look at these lines. Look at this. Didn't have very good speed, Martin, but on the bottom part of the track, she must have copied one of them German shortcuts because she overcame a deficiency and emerged with a 200s lead.
Her closest rival in Innsbruck for the Crystal Globe will be Kim Kaliki, because second in points, Lara Nolte isn't here. Third in points, Melanie Hassler isn't here. So Katy Boyle will take an extra 150 points maybe over them. She leads with 5 to go. Katie Humphries, the most successful driver in this field, tied for 3 wins with Alana Myers-Taylor, but with even more podium finishes in her results. Driving a brand new sled to her. This is Brad Hall's Bavarian-built Ixent sled. Ixent is a high-tech company in Munich that is producing all the monobobs, and this is their first 2-man sled. Brad drove his regular BTC yesterday into a 5th place finish. Kaylee in the Ixent for the first time racing this sled here.
Yeah, they had to get a better start. They did by 200s. Lauren Gibbs in the back, the veteran brakeman who's medaled on this track with Alana Myers-Taylor also.
Yeah.
And Kaylee,
and with Jamie Grubel
7th place last week in St. Moritz. Yeah, St. Moritz, she didn't like that finish. Yeah. She won the monobob race last night like no one else was competing. 5/6 lead. She just blew everybody away. She's got the monobob thing to figure it out, but only 800ths lead here. Yeah. She lost time in the first run on the bottom.
Trying to work out where to
only
steer
down
the
to 1, look out!
She can't work on her reflexes. 200s behind. Katy Boyle moves up another. I wonder if Katy Boyle tempted fate by doing some maths. What does she need? Can she put the World Cup, the Crystal Globe, out of the reach of Kim Kaliki here today? I don't know. Well, Kaylee, it's a brand new sled, and John, it's like a new rental. It doesn't drive like what you're used to. And when you're talking hundreds of a second, that makes a big difference.
Well, she drove that monobob last night, which is everybody's got the same sled, but they got their own runners, and she had fat runners on the front, skinny runners in the back. But this is the world champion, Martin, and she's 2 weeks away from the world championship. I bet you we see her in a different sled next week again.
I think she might be back to the BTC. Listen, try it. You only learn by trying, and you learn more from failing than by succeeding. There you are. That's today's truism. 4 sleds to go. Katy Boyle leads. Christine de Bruyn next up for the Netherlands, with Sarah Villani behind her. For Canada, I beg your pardon, Christine. Too many de Bruyns, not enough nations. 4th place here last year. Can she move up 1 spot into the medals?
100th better at the start. 2nd best velocity. No mistakes allowed. I mean, she's got 10 hundredths to play with. And that's a good entrance. That's a good sign. 1200ths. Ooh. No more. Ooh. Not bad. Kind of speed she got here in the Chrysler.
That's good.
2nd. That's a good line. And
ooh, little
14.
Late,
this should be enough. Boy, that's. You know, she's got to be clean. She should be the leader here. If she's not, no mistakes here allowed.
Going away.
Ooh, it's coming down. Look out.
400s. It could be Katy Boyle. It's not.
100.
Oh, my word. Oh, my word. You don't often hear much out of Todd Hayes in the leader's box, do you? You did there. 100th of a second. 4th place. That will match her best ever race here. Big smile on the face of Sarah Villani.
Yeah, you're going to see the big mistake down in the This is pretty quiet through the bend away. I mean, not perfect, but not one of the worst. Both bunks hit there, a little bit of a skid. She's not steering away from the trouble. But Martin, watch this. She comes out of here on the wrong side, the right side, taps, this throws her over. Now watch how hard she hits here. Bang.
Yeah.
And that puts all the pressure on the nose. You dig in like that, that slows you down. Great pictures here.
Oh, yeah.
That's her only mistake. That's what made it to 100th.
This is her learning the intricacies of the BTC sled. She only got it before they came to Europe. So 3 to go. First up, Kim Kaliki was our World Cup points leader in Winterberg, then didn't race in Samoritz. Stephanie Schneider had her spot, and now she is back to try and claim the World Cup Crystal Globe in her first season. Don't know what Germany's plans are for next week, whether they race in Innsbruck or whether they all go to Altenburg for more training. We will find out. But now it's about a medal in Königssee.
200's better. Second best start in the first heat at 23. She improved to 21. If she can get through the S's here on the exit, pretty good. Not as bad as the first run. Watch out here, Martin. This was the fastest sled in the last 2 splits at the bottom. She puts out a time, gets 3,500 lead here. Watch out. 3,900s. That's huge. And this is where she was the fastest of all the sleds in the field on the bottom part of the track. She's medaled in every race this year. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Martin, this is maybe a gold medal run. 50, 64. Wow. Martin, 4,300's better.
That's an astonishing performance from Kim Kaliki and Kristen Strack, her brake woman.
Martin, this is talent right there. That's great starters. You know, the first heat she hit hard right there. This heat she got away with it. But Martin, she got around here with not, some bumping, but not the skidding across the ice. But watch the runners here. Real quiet exit. The cowling hardly split. Watch the back end of the sled. Does she hit hard, or does runners stay on the ice? Yes. No one's been faster in the bottom part of the track than her.
7 previous World Cup races, 4 silver, 3 bronze, 0 gold. 2 sleds to go. Kim Kaliki leads. And Angela Stahlhacker of the IBSF tells me that Kaliki is scheduled to go to Innsbruck. The difference at the start of this race between Boyle and Kaliki in points was equal to about a 16th or 17th place finish. So it is game on. Kaliki leads. Boyle is 3rd with 2 to go. It will be a 2-horse race for the Crystal Globe in Innsbruck, but right now it could be a 3-horse race for the gold. We thought it was only going to be 2 because Alana Myers-Taylor was 300ths off the lead. Kim Kaliki was a 10th away, but suddenly it's all alive.
21 in the first heat, 20. Best start of the day. The Germans put a couple hundreds up. Best velocity, that's their brakeman Sylvia Hoffman with a nice step into the sled, the final step. And let's see if Alana can get through the exit here. Holding my breath, I don't think so. Gonna be real tough for her to have any kind of speed here. 12th best speed. Now it's a question of at least staying on the podium.
How far will she drop? How far will she drop? 1800s back. Second place is more than half a second behind Kaliki, so she will be in the medals. Kim Kaliki will lead with 1 sled to go. And she makes it through into second
barely.
spot. Yeah.
Barely hung on. Coach Mike Kahn knows about that exit of the S's. But she's medaled.
On the podium. On the podium, yeah. She was silver medalist 2 years ago. Wasn't here last year. Bronze the year before that. Her last win here was in the Worlds in 2017.
And and she silver medaled it last night in the monobob. So not a bad weekend for Alana. This was, I'm sure this will haunt her, but you know, she's lucky she had that big start and the big lead from the first heat. She almost fell off that podium.
Yep. Of course, this is only her third race since the end of 18-19 season, when she went off on maternity leave. So Stephanie Schneider then, the winner here 3 years ago. It's her only win on this track. And there, Kim Kaliki. Okay, so it's perhaps the most experienced of the Germans in terms of World Cup starts, most as a brake woman. But Stephanie Schneider, 2 World Cup starts this season, 2 wins. Tamara Sear behind her. So a change up in the back of the sled. 5:22. She goes 300s quicker.
Third best velocity. You know, she was a bronze medalist last night in monobob, but boy, she had a horrific second run, Martin, and this isn't very good either.
Oh.
I told you, Kim Kaliki put down some smoking run.
9th best speed.
She's going to scramble.
Alana Myers-Taylor is nearly half a second back, so she'll still be at least a silver medalist, but it is at best a silver medalist. Said before the run that things can take themselves away from you on this track. Nothing is a given, and it is victory for the first time in her career for Kim Kaliki. Stephanie Schneider takes a silver medal, and it's bronze for Alana Myers-Taylor, but a huge win for Kim Kaliki. That is her 8th World Cup race. She has been on the podium in all 8. She now has 4 silver, 3 bronze, and 1 gold. And Schneider wants to know where it went away. Well, the answer is everywhere, John, and it started here.
She's not the only one that had some issues there in the bend away.
Yeah, but she's the only one who had the gold medal snatched away by them. And down here, wasn't tidy either. She was late onto the Kreisel, late off, bouncing Tammy Sear out of her seat, but they are in the medals. Tamara Sear, her 3rd World Cup start in a bobsled, and her first in, quote, her 2nd career. And that's her 2nd. She raced in Sigulda at the end of last season. But Kim Kaliki, wow. So Kaliki this season, bronze, silver, silver, bronze, silver, miss 1, gold. Maybe she needed the breathing space to come back all fired up and loaded for bear. Kim Kaliki and Ann-Kristen Strack win in Königssee. And that is a huge moment for this superb young driver. She gets the monkey off her back. Yes, I can win. I don't think we doubted it. It was just a matter of time. She wins by 1/4 of a second. That's a huge turnaround because she was a 10th back from Stephanie Schneider. Alana Myers-Taylor takes 3rd. Christina Bruin in 4th, ahead of Katy Boyle, and Kaylee Humphries tying with Mariama Yamanka. There's 3 Olympic Championship titles in that tie alone. Well, it was a pretty entertaining end to a highly entertaining weekend here. Königssee isn't everybody's favourite track, but it's most people's favourite, and for good reason. The scenery is stunning, the racing is often just as stunning. And John, Kim Kaliki, she isn't a coming woman anymore, she's here.
I said it, she had the best times from the Kreisel down, and she put the good run in the 2nd run, posted the time, catch me if you can, nobody could.
Wow, 8 World Cup races, never off the podium. Well, there is the top of Grunstein just disappearing into the clouds. That's probably the best we'll have of the day. Katy Boyle leads the World Cup standings. Kaliki jumps to 2nd. She will go to fight for the Crystal Globe, and the gap is 51 points. That means whoever finishes in front gets the Crystal Globe. Yamanka will be 3rd, I think she will go to Altenburg. She needs a little bit of a confidence booster. And those are the rest of our World Cup rankings. Nadezhda Sergeva comes up from 20th place to 18th behind the absent Lubov Chernik. Sylvia Smolarek, we haven't seen the polls for a few races. And there are the rest of the 25 drivers who have started races so far this season. One final encounter a week from now in Innsbruck, Austria, and then we head to the World Championships. But from Königssee for now, from the IBSF TV crew, from John Morgan, from me, Martin Haven, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye. We'll see you in Innsbruck for the season finale, and the battle for all 5 Crystal Globes remains alive.